more, and the kid chooses her the red and blue based on her own shirt. Not sure how she knew how to do that, but it's a nice moment, and you know, maybe Plank was doing it the whole time for her. It is, however, extremely amusing that Plank takes a righteous stand against the Kree uniform and changes its colors, but she keeps the symbol of the Kree, or at least its warrior faction, so that's awkward. Like, imagine being completely against the team you come from because you discover their rampant persecution and murder of innocents, and so you flip the colors on their symbol and you celebrate that you no longer have any connection to them. It doesn't work very well when you think about it with other stuff, does it? We then harshly cut to Youngledore having made it to Earth, and he enters one of the shacks near the best friend's house in daylight. He finds Plank and asks for her to say who gave her the blood transfusion when she was on Hala. It could be said that this question comes out of nowhere because we weren't told about any transfusion prior to this moment, though this shot shows up in the trailer where it doesn't in the movie, which means they may have had a scene in which she arrived at Hala and it was cut. Maybe more of a backstory was planned for her and Youngledore, and this reveal of having used his blood was meaningful in some way. In the trailer, there's this bit about how she's made stronger and superior by being given the blood.
We made you one of us, so you could live longer, stronger, superior.
They do comment on being human as lesser than being Kree, but there's never a setup or payoff in relation to blood. So I guess they cut all of it except this line from Youngledore, which, actually, are they suggesting that she doesn't age like a human and she has a bunch of Kree traits because they put the Kree blood in her? Like, she changed species because of a blood transfusion? Or is it just coincidentally the same traits that the Kree have and she just got them from the engine explosion? Fucking hell, I think the less we explore that, the better. But I mean, from this information, we can discern that she is part human, part Kree, part Tesseract, and part Wood. Either way, the point is she couldn't answer that question, and so Youngledore shoots her, proving that she was a Skrull decoy. And in the decoy's last breath, it says, "You're too late." There's a few problems here. Firstly, why would you say anything, let alone "you're too late," since this will give Youngledore the impression that Plank has switched sides, or that she has at least found the technology ahead of time. But yeah, point is, shut the fuck up, or people might wonder what the fuck you were even doing here, which, in regards to a decoy, brings me to my next point. I do not know why in the world they would have tried this, since if Youngledore was able to find this exact spot, then there must be some form of a signal or to separate from Plank. Otherwise, and told him to come there, which don't even get me started on the stupid of that. So, at the very least, if we're being charitable, they took her transponder, or whatever signal she makes, and convincingly made it so that a Skrull can act as it. So then maybe don't put it in a shack near the house of your best friend with a decoy that can't answer a single detailed long-term question, for fuck's sake. Talk about putting people in danger if Youngledore tried to find whoever lived there. You also just wasted a Skrull for no fucking reason. Youngledore would have easily found out that wasn't Plank no matter what. Do you guys remember the whole bunch of shit that Plank told Fury about how Skrulls can't perform a photon blast? All Youngledore had to do was ask for one of those and this Skrull was just dead. How did Plank think that this plan was ever gonna fucking work? I love the idea that Plank told the Skrulls some random facts about her history and just hoped it would be enough for them not to die. I mean, geez, why not put the signal somewhere completely different on the other side of the planet? Why not have the decoy run away to the other side of the planet and continue to evade pursuit like they've been shown to be very fucking good at? Why not have the decoy get the jump on Youngledore and straight up kill him and potentially take his place? You could have shot him as he entered the shack. Oh wait, that wasn't in the script. Fucking hell, why not have the real Plank be the decoy, because she could easily feed Youngledore a story about not finding the Skrulls while the real group of heroes get to the secret base with her suit to open it up, and Youngledore would be none the wiser. You remember, Plank is the hero, the one who makes the sacrifices, rather than this nameless Skrull warrior who died for no reason. Youngledore then brings up his arm and says, "Smurflord, attack C-53, being Earth, of course, and Smurflord is just cool with that. I love that he could have been on the toilet or reading a newspaper and Youngledore just pulls him up randomly only to find he's standing there like a figurine with his hammer waiting to be told what to do. Sure, movie. And telling him to come now, this close to the end? Will Smurflord even make it? And apparently Youngledore is able to contact people like Smurflord despite being many systems away with just his wrist thing. instantly. So why does Planck have to access an Earth phone every time she does it? I mean, it's useful because it prevents her from being in constant communication with Youngledore, so he can't make sure she doesn't research this shit to begin with, and it makes it harder for him to push her towards the Kree rather than the Skrulls. And then the additional benefit is that he couldn't contact her while he was landing on Earth, so that wouldn't compromise the switcheroo. So these helpful story beats are all thanks to the fact that she broke it enough in her fall for it to not work properly, but not enough that Earth technology couldn't fix it. How convenient. As Planck and her team lift off, they make a point to show gravity changing as they leave Earth's atmosphere, which is neat. Only they forget that on the way up, the hair on Planck should be flowing back, not dangling down, and all of them should be pulled back as a whole. The weird thing is that they did it earlier and they made a joke out of it. This is a nitpick, but I don't know, they almost got it. Either way, Planck and her team make it to the secret base, but it's cloaked, and as I said, her suit just uncloaks it. That's just something it does. Okay, and I mean, there's no effort to recloak it either. Like, you might want to do that in order to prevent Youngledore from finding you, unless you have to leave it uncloaked because the script said so. And there's no concern for what NASA might do when they see it, because... So they get to the control room, and it turns out that the Tesseract was the core the whole time. This is what the engine was powered from. Apparently, Howard Stark loaned it out to the Pegasus project, and by the end of this movie, it goes back with S.H.I.E.L.D. to be in line with Avengers. And in all fairness to the movie, Pegasus was used as a title for the project studying the cube in Avengers. But there is something to consider, like the idea that allowing Science Lady to have the Tesseract to try and work on fast travel and high-tech engines is interesting and reasonable, I suppose. Though, if this technology was something that even the Kree wanted, and it was casually available for a pilot to fly in this movie, then you would think the plans for it, or even the thing itself, would be a little more impactful on Earth tech in general, wouldn't you? But let's assume they kept all of it extremely secret. Wouldn't there be some notes, files, etc. lying around maybe that could maybe create a ripple effect that would revolutionize technology? No? Okay, well, barring all of that, you are never going to fucking convince me that S.H.I.E.L.D. and Howard Stark would have given up the Tesseract to be lost for 6 years or more. Like, this thing is the quintessential, most important thing that Earth owns. They would never let it exist in a form that's not under surveillance. And if ever it went missing, Science Lady would be reprimanded and interrogated immediately, because Earth would not take that loss lightly. Which brings me to my next point. Fury basically seeing the Tesseract and having no clue what it is or its relevance when it would be fully documented as an extremely important device that fueled the creation of fucking disintegration weapons during World War II is bizarre. Not to mention that he's a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., the organization that had the Tesseract during and up to 1989. He should be saying, holy fucking shit, our government lost track of this thing years ago, and this is where... It's sad that the fucking Tesseract is treated like such a joke in this movie. I feel like the writers for this one may have watched the MCU once and are going from memory when creating this story, but there will be more evidence of that soon enough. Moving on, we find out that a large amount of Skrulls have been hiding on this ship for 6 years, and Science Lady was trying to help them travel to another galaxy. Included among them is Krennic's family, and they have a reunion. It's very emotional. But then it gets the old brain running again. If we're supposed to believe that's his family and that's his kid, shouldn't she have a bit of trouble recognizing him? Isn't she like 8 years old at maximum and they've been gone for like at least 6? The kid is probably like 50 years old in our biology, so it's fine. The other question is that if his family are there, then why didn't he know where the thing was? Did he casually give them up and didn't care to have a backup plan for their location in the event that something goes wrong? Did he not care about the condition in which he left them? Why would he trust the random Kree scientists so much? For that matter, how did Science Lady even get them up there? Did she make a deal with the Skrulls off-world and then drive the whole thing to Earth? What did she do to earn their trust? The entire movie doesn't happen if these things don't happen, so I think it's pretty important that we know why, and it could easily double up as some really great character building for Krennic. But nah, let's just have our fun little space movie. But then shit hits the fan. Youngledore and his team just waltz into the room as if it's theater. No warnings or noises or detection. Getting Iron Man 3 vibes here. Like, there's no connecting scene to show how they knew knew to come here. I guess we're supposed to assume that our smart, intelligent, clever protagonist didn't really put the cloak back on the secret base, and so Youngledore just saw it outside his space window. Fucking hell. And they capture everyone. Literally, Youngledore just grabs Plank with his telekinesis arm thing and hits her, and she's knocked out. Okay. There's also this little moment where he's outraged that Plank has changed the colors on her uniform, as if it's super insulting to the Kree or whatever, and you have to ask, if it's so offensive to not have the green colors, then why does she have the option in the first place? Like, the suit seems to have it as a major feature, whatever. Back to the captured people, they are scanning threat levels, and it says low to no threat for Fury, to which he responds, that thing's clearly busted. Again, the humor is just fine. That's a joke that needs a bit more of a punch and quippiness, but, you know, as it stands, it's like, yeah, you could call that funny, I guess. But then the bad guys say that they're going to eject the prisoners, including Best Friend, into space. If you eject all those aliens, then what stops Earth from picking all of it up eventually? Like, why not just execute them here and now? Aren't you kind of fucking with Earth's, like, natural progression? We'll talk about that. What I want to know is whether Best Friend is rethinking her decision to ditch her kid in exchange for a cool mission where she gets to be ejected into space. You fucking idiot. Anyway, Plank then wakes up and she's being plugged into the Supreme Intelligence Goop. Apparently you can just do that anywhere remotely, so why even go to a giant fuck-off temple in the beginning if you can just do it from, like, the fucking space Wi-Fi? Christ's sake. The scene opens with the Supreme Intelligence welcoming Plank while playing Come As You Are by Nirvana, which is interesting since that song released in 1991 and Plank left Earth in 1989. But I suppose we can handwave it by saying she heard it on the radio while she was here in 1995 off screen, and that's why it's deep in her mind. Also, why the fuck is she speaking to the AI? Haven't they won now? Haven't they got the tech? They've captured the scrolls and Plank is knocked out? Not to mention that Plank hates your team now? Just kill her and you win everything. But no, we spend several minutes with the AI telling Plank that she's crap. She doesn't know how to use her power. It's cute how hard she tries. She doesn't control her emotions. She's useless. And she illustrates this to her by showing her the montage we saw at the beginning of her failing to do things all of the time. And finally, without the Kree, she is only human. So, like, did they really plug her into the AI just for it to say, meow, 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 we won, you suck, lol? Really? Even though the Kree are fully aware that her power isn't from them? Like, mechanically they know this, so why coax her to fucking hate you? There's no reason for this scene. So thanks to the montage, Plank remembers a different montage for us to enjoy of getting back up from falling over in all of those clips. And then it all crescendos with her saying, my name is Carol.
I'm kind of done with you telling me what I can't do. I'm here to stop the shapeshifters that are infiltrating your planet.
Serious?
She tries to walk towards the AI in her mind, but the AI fires a blue energy beam at her, and she starts to try and break through it, and by doing that in her mind with the AI, it weakens the electricity in the whole ship and makes it so that all the restraints for the good guys fall off. And then the good guys start beating up all of the bad guys. Alright, there's an issue or two with this handful of seconds. I'm gonna try and get through them real quick. Why would the AI not activate the neck thing the second Plank started to show resistance? We saw it prevent her powers from being used before, and she hasn't realized she can take it off yet, so just do it. Actually, why would there even be a Wi-Fi connection to the AI in this ship when it was made in secret and opposed to the Kree? Come to think of it, why are they even wasting time with this at all instead of going back